Let's talk Marie Antoinette. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, bonjour, oui oui, oui oui. Rating Marie Antoinette's dresses on a scale of 1 to cake. Why use the number 10 when cake describes some of her dresses even better than that number? Plus, in the movie, one of the noble ladies refers to Marie as looking as a little piece of cake. Maybe it can stay in there.
An option. An option.
Dress numero uno is from when she was a little girl. This is a portrait of her and her sister who she was very close to, Maria Carolina. Marie Antoinette was born Maria Antonia, and then once she became the French queen, she adopted the French version of her name, so that's where she got Marie Antoinette. It's so cute. I feel like this portrait conveys how close they are. Maria Antonia is in the pink dress and Maria Carolina is in the blue dress. This portrait was from 1764, so Marie Antoinette was just a little girl at this time. You can't see that much of the dress from this portrait. You just can tell it's pink. I'm sure it was cute, I'm sure it was silk and extravagant because she was the Archduchess of Austria, but can't see that much. I'm gonna give it a 3. Sorry little Maria Antonia. Our second dress is from a portrait of Marie Antoinette and her siblings performing. They often performed for their parents in the court of Vienna. Marie Antoinette was known for her talent in music and the arts. This dress is so pretty. I want to wear this dress. I want to wear this dress. It's so pretty. The blues, the sparkles, the embroidery. It's a very artistic dress. You can tell it was for a performance in that day and age. Oh mama, is that some gorgeous dress, and if they had it in my size during this time, like if I can recreate that dress, I would. Not quite at a cake level yet, but it's almost there, so I'm gonna give it a 9. This next dress is pink. It's pastel, it's powdery, perfect princess dress, but it's okay. Like, I like pink. I like pink. But this dress isn't speaking to me on a profound level. I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a 4. It's more detailed than the first portrait, so it's not a 3. You can see the ruffles and all the embellishments, but it's not my piece of cake. Okay, next dress. Blue and pink. It is so cute. She looks like a little piece of cake. She looks like a piece of candy. I love the deep blue and the striping of pink, the accents around her piping or her bows, and her hair is just adorable. A 7. It's not as intricate and extravagant as the performance dress, because it's not a performance dress, but it's up there. Ding 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 ding. Ding, it's a 7. It's more on cupcake level than full-on cake. Number 5 is the family portrait. It's a very silvery dress, and it matches, hey, silver dress. So I like silver dresses, right? But it matches her sister's dresses, and this shouldn't take away from anything. But I definitely feel in her youth, she probably didn't have that much of a say on what she wore. Her mother was pretty darn strict. The court of Vienna was not as strict as the court of Versailles. Her mother was known for being very particular and critical and strict, and I feel like she would have had control over what her daughters wore, especially in a family portrait like this. She was just one of many at home. It's kind of plain. And like honestly, my dress isn't that, like, it's way more extravagant than my dress. I would love to get on the level of Marie's dress in this portrait. I love the embroidery in the front of her gown. I'm gonna give it a nice even 5. 5! It's kind of on the plain side. Honestly, in my dress, I'd probably give it a 5. I love wearing it, but on a scale of 1 to cake, and comparing it to Marie Antoinette's dresses, my dress is, it's no Rose Bertin, if you know what I mean. Rose Burton was her dressmaker. Okay, starting to get into the teen years here. She is 13 in this portrait. This portrait was painted in 1769 and it was painted for the Dauphin of France, which is the heir to France, her future husband, Louis Auguste. He was nervous and he had been taught growing up that Austrians were bad. Austria and France had been at war and this alliance is what brought them together. He's a shy kid anyway. He's like, I want to see what she looks like. It'll make me feel better. They painted this portrait of her and I think she's wearing a robe à la française, but I'm not sure. You can kind of see a hint of a cape in the back and that's when they have this. Mine is not a robe à la française. It's a robe à la anglaise. It's very classic. It's got a very nice pattern, the blues, the goldish browns. Can't say it's my absolute favorite, and I have a similar feeling to it that I do the last one with her and the silver one with all her and her sisters. It's very cute, but I'm gonna give it a 5, right smack dab in the middle. I would wear it 100%, but let me tell you, when we're gonna get to some real gowns later, it's gonna be okay. So Marie finally is going to marry the Dauphin. She travels by carriage to the forest of Compiègne, some forest, I don't know. That's where she leaves all of Austria behind, puts on a French gown. Now she's French. She has to eat, speak, breathe French. Everything. She's on her way to get married. Unfortunately, we don't have a portrait of her in her wedding dress, but from what is described, it was a lilac. It was a lilac toned silvery gown with diamonds that her mother gifted her for her wedding, and they were encrusted all throughout the gown. This was expensive, this was rich. We do not have a portrait of this lovely dress that, by the way, did not fit her. Fun fact, the dress did not fit her because it had been made 7 months prior and she was a growing 13-year-old girl. So on her way to France from Austria, she gained weight and she grew because she's a 13-year-old girl. So it was too small, and when they tried to sew her into her dress, because they sewed them into their dresses back then, they couldn't. So you could see some of her shift, I believe, in the back. They couldn't close it all the way, but I'm sure it was still stunning. She's got diamonds in her dress. Diamonds! So it was stunning. For reference, wedding dresses often looked like this. This was the dress of, I believe, Catherine the Great, the Russian queen. I might be wrong. I'll write down here if I'm wrong, if it belongs to someone else. So yeah, but that's kind of what was going on there with her wedding gown. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this extravagant piece of art would be cake.
We've got a cake.
This dress would have been cake. I don't even have a portrait, and just by the description, silver lilac toned silk with diamonds encrusted in. Like, if it looked anything like this, and there's a lilac tone to the silver, like, so it's not just silver, it's like got purpley hues. Oh my god. I can't fathom. After the wedding, she starts getting accustomed to life at Versailles, and by accustomed I mean totally like body slammed to the ground, out of her depth, like she cannot even, it is a whole other ballpark, it's a whole other playing field. They're all racist, they don't like Austrians. This portrait of her from 1771 is so cute. Her in this redingote is so cute, and redingotes were pretty popular at the time, like big whoop, it's just a redingote, but look at the stripes, look at the candy stripes on the vest. She's so cute. This was also her mother's favorite portrait of her, and like it's beautiful. I would wear this every day if I had it. The hat and the gold and just the red velvet. Oh, love it. I had never seen this one before. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's not as extravagant. It would not feel like eating cake when you're wearing it. I feel like it would be eating a lollipop. Okay, so this purple dress, it's cute. I never see her in purple. I like the shade of purple, I feel like it really brings out her eye color. And I haven't seen her in purple before. I feel like this is really cool. And maybe I'm just rating things higher because they're new and I haven't seen them before and I love them. I'm gonna go ahead and give this another 7. Just because look at the shade of purple. Look at the shade of purple. Okay, so now we're getting into the coronation. We also do not have a portrait of her coronation dress, but there's a portrait of her around the same time that in a traditional French court dress, and it's blue and it's extravagant and it's beautiful. It's from 1775. I have to rate this one cake because it's look at it, look at all the details. This is just cake on cake on cake on cake on cake. This is like Marie Antoinette herself probably ate this dress afterwards. I mean, the European nobility did much weirder things at this time. Eating mummies. Let's go ahead and say she ate it because this one is cake. This portrait from 1775 is when her brother visited. She's in a blue dress with a cute pink bow. I feel like this is what most people think of when they think of Marie Antoinette. They picture her in light blue and pinks, and it's very what you would think of. And I think there's a dress in the Sofia Coppola movies that looks similar to this. Yeah, but it's not exceptional to me. I think I'm gonna give it a 6. Okay, now there's this pink dress. At first I was like, it looks like what she wore when she was little. Again, I love pink, but I was like, I'm not totally bought on it. But then
I looked closer.
And the gold flowers and the gold embellishments and the ermine has gold. The fur has gold on it and her cute hat. At first I was gonna rate it low, but I think I'm going to have to go ahead and rate it a 9. It is almost cake. It is beautiful. Okay, I gotta prepare you guys for what's coming next. This next dress
Is gorgeous.
This dress was made by Marie Antoinette's favorite designer. Rose Barton was her go-to dressmaker. This dress was meant to have a fantasy aspect to it, so I don't believe she wore it in day-to-day life in court. I think she wore it for this portrait. It's gorgeous. I love the green color. She used tinsel instead of usually you have like ribbons and ruffles and pleats. They used tinsel for this dress for decoration, and it's beautiful. And the bow you see on front isn't really a bow. The people who were looking at this portrait just realized that it was fake. It was actually like a part of the bodice, so it closed to look like a bow, but this is actually like a part of the dress. This fantasy out there dress, and it's beautiful. I think it's one of my favorites. Can we just look at the silk? Can we get some close-ups, please? Can we get some close-ups, please? Thank you. You can tell she's already playing with her style. She's finally growing up. She's becoming a woman. She's the queen of France now, and she
Has choices. She
wakes up every day and looks through her wardrobe book, and she's like, I want that in a dress, and now give it to me, please. I am the queen. I wish this dress was in the Sofia Coppola movie.
This dress would have been perfect because she already had a more fantasy, like, non-unrealistic side to her costumes in that movie. I feel like this would have been perfect because even though it's not, like, realistic, it's not supposed to be even in history, so it would have been accurate.
So this one is a cake. I don't know if you can already tell, but this one is a cake. Okay, so there's this one too, painted by her Marie's favorite artist, Elizabeth Viguier. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's her favorite artist. This paint was painted in 1778. It's gorgeous. It's extravagant. Look at all the details put into this. I feel like I have to go with cake. It's not my personal favorite, but this is a cake dress. Like, I want to say it's vanilla, but it's cake. We're gonna step it up a notch here. Chemise à la reine. We are going to be talking about the chemise à la reine, the revolutionary dress. It changed the world. It changed the fabric industry. Everyone started wearing cotton after this. At the time, women in the court were expected to wear silks and very structured dresses. There was a certain court gown style that was expected, especially of the queen at the time. By wearing silk, you supported the French silk industry, and that was seen as patriotic. But Marie, wanting to leave the restraints of the strict court of Versailles, wanted something more comfortable, and she wanted something she can run around her gardens with her babies with. And I feel like that's okay. No matter what this woman did, and people wouldn't like it. She was Austrian, they were blaming the debt on her, which wasn't her fault. France was already in debt before her rule, and most of their debt was gained through aiding the American Revolution, which, fun fact, the Americans decided not to pay France back after they helped us win the war. So yay, America! Okay. So anyway, she commissioned Rose Burton, her dressmaker, to make this very flowy cotton thin dress that was so different at the time, and this portrait was made again by her favorite painter, Elizabeth Brun. It was put up in a salon in Paris, or it's where all the rich people went to look at just people in general went to look at paintings, and it was of their queen, and people were
outraged.
they're like, how could she do this? She is supposed to look like a queen, not like she's trying to be some peasant person.
And people were angry because she was trying to look like a peasant person.
And she's like, the peasants are literally like, they're
Starving.
What are you doing, Marie? Like, on top of not showing the world that you are a great power, you are the queen, you're like making fun of peasant people trying to be a shepherdess, even though that's not even what the peasants' dresses looked like at the time. Now the funny part is in the years after the revolution, guess what dress becomes the most popular dress in the world? Guess which fabric becomes the most commodified fabric in the world? Cotton, muslin, chemise à la reine dresses. Yeah. They just didn't like her. They wanted someone to blame the national debt on, and they found someone. This dress was revolutionary. It's beautiful. It's not as extravagant as some of her other gowns, but because of its impact on the world and its impact on women's clothing, I'm gonna have to give it a 9. It's almost cake, but I think I can't give it cake completely. There's a very dark side to what happened after. Not that that was Marie's fault. She literally just wanted a more comfortable dress, but you cannot be the Queen of France without having impact. Anything you do will have a reaction. I'm like Madame du Barry in that one scene. I'm a lady. So after this controversial dress where people were like, you're making fun of
Poor people.
she had Elizabeth, her painter, redo it, and she painted another one where it's the same pose but it's in a different dress. It's a beautiful silk dress. It's what you would expect a queen to wear, or more like that. I'm gonna give it a 7. Okay, so the next one is another favorite of mine. This portrait is from 1785. It's of her and her babies going through the park at Versailles. At first it's like, oh, it's just a brown dress. It's just a brown dress. But if you look closer, it's shot silk. You can see where the painter, and I know because I'm an artist, so like I can tell like that's just not just a shadow. Like that is shot silk. It's where there's 2 different colors, where the weft is a different color than the weave. So it looks brown in like a goldish brown, deep brown in one light, but as the light reflects off of it at different angles, it has like a indigo purple tone. You can see the swag that this dress has. She has chains hanging off, silver and gold. She's like, I am the queen. I have silver and gold. I don't care if it's mismatching. Guess who I am? I'm the queen. I can afford both.
I'm going to wear both.
Then I also like the front of it, but I love the poofs and the little things in between. I'm gonna give this dress a cake. This dress is a cake. The amount of like, it's a cake. I drew Marie Antoinette as a little Disney princess, so if you're wondering what Marie Antoinette looks like as a Disney princess, it probably looks like that. So we're getting later into her life. She's still trying to like pick up the mess she made with the chemise à la reine. So she's trying to promote a more motherly image to the public. lots of portraits with her babies, and in this portrait she's wearing a beautiful deep red velvet gown with fur trimming, and this is something a queen would wear. She actually lost her last daughter, Sophie, and that's why the crib is painted empty. It's like something a mature queen would wear, and it's beautiful. I think it would be a 9. I think it would be a 9. 1790, this portrait. So this is 3 years before her execution. You can see she is looking much more simple. It's a very simple portrait. It's not extravagant. At this time, she does step in. She did not step in to help with the financial problems before this. That wasn't her place. You know, she was just a woman. She was there to bear children and look pretty. She was not supposed to be getting into politics, so that's why she really didn't get into politics, and she didn't try and help earlier. Around this time, she actually hired an accountant or someone to try and fix this. This was her first step in trying to help fix her country's financial state. Unfortunately, this finance person could not help. Everything was too damaged. But she did try to help, especially since it wasn't expected of her and it wasn't approved for her to get into the politics. She did it anyway, and I think that's something that we don't talk about a lot. She wasn't cold-hearted. She actually never did say let them eat cake. It was said by a French queen about 100 years before her.
And the revolutionaries said that she said this because they wanted to enrage the people for the cause. They were using this for their own cause, the people's frustrations with the queen, and they were putting the country's downfall all on her shoulders, pretty much. They didn't vilify the king as they did the queen. The king was on this pedestal, he was a man, and they wanted to use Marie, the scapegoat, is that the right word? She was a woman, she was from Austria, she was a foreigner, and she liked to lead an extravagant lifestyle. She was frivolous, so she was a good target anyway.
So they used her. So anyway, there's this dress. This was around the time where she's cutting back, and it's simple, and I think I'm gonna have to give this one cake, even though it's not extravagant and it's not particularly beautiful. But I think this shows character growth in this queen's life, and I think for most of her rule, she was a child, she was very young, and she grew up and she saw what was happening, and she finally made changes, but a little bit too late. Finally, this dress is speculated to be hers, but we're not sure. This gown was made by her dressmaker, Rose Burton. It could have been hers, and I really do think it could have been hers. If this isn't what you think a queen would wear, I don't know what would be. Look at the embellishments, look at the embroidery, look at the pink, look at the silk, look at the front, the way it closes. It's gorgeous. I think this dress was a cake. I think this was a strawberry cheesecake filled cake with frosting and silver edible sprinkles and flowers on top. So probably this, the green tinsel fantasy gown, and like the brown shot silk dresses are the ones that I would personally want. Which ones would you want of Marie's wardrobe? How would you rate them based on your own personal preferences? Okay, so this has been fun.